Bread Man Down, Clean Up on Aisle podcast.
Welcome to Clean Up on Aisle podcast, the dirty truth about grocery stores. I'm your host, Jef Harmatz, joined as always by your host, Adam Fligsten. Hello, Adam.
Hello, Jef. How are you?
I'm wonderful. And today we are joined by Jordyn Wright, an actor and producer, also out of Highland Park TV. We've had a lot of Highland Park TV people on our show so far.
Alumni. I don't know what you would call them. Yeah. Participants. Oh, Jef is an OG Highland Park TV participant.
Oh, you before my time.
Yeah.
Back when it was actually in Highland Park. It's we explained what the heck Highland Park TV was in a recent episode, but it's like, how would you describe it, Jordyn?
I would describe it as an alternative art and film collective focusing on DIY, vintage gear, and local music programming. We have like a really scrappy, collaborative group of people that make music videos, alternative comedy, and like fun community video experimental art and material. It's great. It's cool. But it's a mouthful.
Well, it's local maniacs, local music and local maniacs.
Yeah. Local weirdos having fun and being weird.
So
Yeah, basically.
Is it still like a party vibe? Like when I was going, it was on Saturday nights and everybody was like drinking a huge amount. And, like you'd show up with like, giant cases of beer and stuff like that.
It's lessened a little bit, but there's definitely still beer flowing and cigarettes being smoked.
And
Everyone's aging, so it's more like an episode of King of the Hill. All just like standing in a line drinking beer.
Weirdly rebooted, and most of the people who did it who did the voices are no longer with us. So then got like worse voices now.
Yeah.
And Whippets were big there as well since I've left.
I don't think Whippets. I think the Whippet craze has died down a little, as far as I can tell. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, there was an era where it was like in Halen's Club.
Yeah.
So, Jordyn, we kind of jumped a little bit right into your history of grocery stores. You were saying that your mom was recounting your childhood grocery store visits on a phone call recently.
I mentioned to you earlier as we were getting settled that I called my mom for to check in instead of looking up any helpful information for this podcast. And she was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" And I said, my friend's podcast, and it's about grocery stores. And she was like, "Oh, well, you were like the queen of the grocery stores when I was a little kid."
How were you the queen?
When I was kid, was really, really social and would talk to just about anyone. I think a lot of little kids are like that. They, you don't have any social conditioning, so you're just like, oh, people. And she would walk with me to the grocery store. I grew up in the Bay Area, and our local grocery store was in Nob Hill, which is not around anymore. It's like a little Northern California deep cut. But my dad would take the car to work, and then we would walk and get groceries. And it was like our little thing. When I was probably 2 or 3, showed up, talked to everybody, and was friends with the produce guy, friends with the bakery girl. Like there was this checkout lady, Sandra, who I remember, who we got on real well. I think about her all the time. Just my little friends. It was like a little cartoon episode, and they would always give me stuff. I'd get like a cookie, and I'd leave with like a little basket. I'd have like a handful of grapes and like a chocolate chip cookie and a little balloon, and just like, "Jordyn, what are you doing? You're so cute." And I guess one time, my dad took me to the grocery store, which usually didn't happen. He was usually at work, but he ran me over there during that time. And there were so many people giving me things, so many like adult people giving me treats, that it freaked him out. And he came back and he was like, "Why does she know so many people here?"
What kind of grocery store was Nob Hill? Was it like fancy, or was it like a big supermarket?
They're not like around anymore, but I remember it as being pretty similar to like an Albertsons or a Vons, maybe Kroger, like that, like mid-size, small corporate, like just regular grocery store. It didn't seem too local, but it was, I think, just a California thing. I don't know.
I've never heard of it. Isn't there like a bourbon called that? Is that Knob Creek or Knob Hill?
Knob Creek, maybe.
Knob Creek.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hear knob and I think whiskey, you know. That's kind of where my head goes immediately. So I'm very happy to hear that you were just a popular little lady.
Yeah.
Do you think that you are still very popular at grocery store?
Okay, well, I was thinking about that this morning. I went to go get like a little coffee. There's a grocery store like 2 blocks from my house. I think it's a Super A in Highland Park. And I popped into the line thinking about like, okay, I'm going to like give me coffee. And there was this guy in front of me checking out with a few micheladas, like the canned like micheladas, tall boys, and a box of coffee cake. And I looked at him and I was like, I like your brunch setup. And in that moment, he like laughed and I was like, damn, I'm still talking to everyone around me in the grocery store.
It's not a bad thing.
All right, I've got to check in with everybody on this because you did a thing that I always want to do but never do. Again, I run into people in a grocery store all the time. We live in a small town. You see a lot of the same people where you go. And when I have a grocery store bump in, I always my first instinct is to look at what people are buying. And I want to remark on it. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Like, maybe I should let people buy their embarrassing things. Or if I just is that the polite move to remark on what people are buying at the grocery store when you see them?
I don't know, because I second guessed myself too. I was like, damn, it's all he was buying. I was like, why did I do that? Oh, it's like when you're buying a bunch of food and you're like so afraid that someone's going to be like, are you having a party? And you're like, no, I'm alone. I'm crying. So after I was like, shit, I just did that. I just did the thing.
I think there's a way to let them know that you're on their side that not everybody does. Some people, it's very clear they're judging the decisions that you made. So if you're on that camp, then no, you should not be doing that. But I think, Jordyn, you were basically being like, I want to party with you, dude. Like, I'm on your side. And I think that is totally cool if you can pull that off.
Yeah, smiling, not judging.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference between you bump into somebody in an aisle and you give their cart a scan and say, ooh, they're having ribs for dinner tonight, versus bumping into somebody on the actual conveyor belt, when it's literally impossible to not look at their food and what they're doing?
They also can't go away. They can't move.
Yes.
But ribs for dinner tonight leaves too much open to interpretation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to be, you just without a doubt, you're supporting them and their decision.
Can't wait to hear about what you do with those ribs. I've definitely been caught walking out of a grocery store, especially when my partner is out of town. I'm getting a 6-pack of beer and a frozen pizza, and that is my night. And I have been caught carrying those. I'm not getting a bag for those 2 things. They charge you for bags in California. So I've been caught with the pizza and the 6-pack under the arm. And by some friends are like, oh, you're getting into it tonight. I didn't say that at the time. But when I saw them later, they said, oh, I saw what you were walking out of there with. And
yeah,
I knew you were having one.
Yeah, you got this wrong team. Mm-hmm. I eat like a little boy right now. These days I'm eating quesadillas and frozen food, and my choices are not good. I'm not going in there looking like, oh, I'll just whip up a New York Times recipe. Oh, me and this box of gochujang or whatever. It's not that right now. It's like chicken nuggets. And I am always like, oh, damn, these girls in the grocery store, they know that I'm eating like a 17-year-old with divorced parents.
Yeah.
Have you been spotted? Have you had some remarks on your food, Adam, at all?
Yeah, and I never like it because I buy vegan stuff, so it's always people that clearly have never seen some of these items before. They've never paid attention to them, and then they're just sort of taking them all in because they're all on a conveyor belt all together. And sometimes it's just kind of like the boomer kind of led stare, where they'll just kind of scan it all in and then they'll look at me with just clear disapproval. But then sometimes the cashier will be like, "Oh, you're having a healthy one tonight," or something. If I'm buying kale or something, and it's like, yeah, like I don't know. It's Are you on my side on this one?
You're buying a Amy's like vegetarian bean bowl and like chicken McNuggets, and they're healthy, no feed here,
for sure, yeah. And these days that is more to what I'm eating. Yeah.
There's only like 5 things you can say. You can say like, I'm making a generalization about the shape and quality of the things that you're buying. Like this all kind of looks like vegan food. Or that's one. You can be like, wow, I'm looking at the things you're purchasing. What I did, I think, with the michelada guy was like, hell yeah. I mean, it was like there was like an objectively funny nature about it being 3 tall micheladas and 1 box of coffee cake that I was like, yeah, I see that. I think you have to like recognize the common thread, which is that like I do that too. Because if you're not coming from a place of like, if you're like, I don't do that, where do you go? Like that's the boomer thing. They go, oh, dye shreds, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's isolating. So if you can ask someone or talk about it, like, I'm in this together. I think they must at Trader Joe's, because Trader Joe's, that's like the joke, is that they'll always talk about like what you're getting. Trader Joe's employees seem to be like pretty good at it, and most of the time I'll play along. Sometimes I get nervous again because I'm only buying snacks and freezer food. It's like I eat like a little child, and I don't know. I've said some self-deprecating things in response before. Like they have it at TJ's. They have the root beer float pieces, or they did. It was like a seasonal item, and
a piece of root beer float. What is that?
Dude, it's so good. It's like a shortbread kind of cookie chunk with a vanilla cream, similar to like an Oreo. Like it's just palm oil. It's like that vanilla cream. It's got root beer flavored Pop Rocks in it, and it's covered in a root beer confectionery coating. Oh my God. It is so far from food. It's amazing.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I got embarrassed when I bought them.
And what did the register person say to you?
Well, because she was like, boop. And then she goes, have you had these? Which I think is like, I guess that's number 2. It's remark on the item or ask a curious question is a route you could go. Have you had these? Nice and inviting. And I said, no, I'm really excited. And then I got embarrassed because all I was buying was like chips and these root beer float pieces. And I said, the less like food something is, the more I want to eat it. And she laughed. And it disarmed her, and I was like, great, we've finished this interaction, and nobody thinks I'm weird.
I think that if you're buying weird stuff and somebody remarks, you just always say, I'm going to a child's birthday party. I'm buying these root beer pieces. We tried these, Bill, but I'm going to a child's birthday party. I've got chips. I've got cookies. The coffee cake and michelada guy. Oh, that looks like a great breakfast. And he could just say, I'm going to a child's birthday party. You can't like...
I did that once. I was buying... a huge thing of Otter Pops. I think that was all I was buying. And for whatever reason, I was very embarrassed by it. So I immediately, without like any prompting, I was just like, oh, it's for a kid. And she saw right through it. And then like kind of was like, mm-hmm. And that just scanned me. And that was the end of the interaction. So yeah, I guess you have to sell it.
It's like when you don't want like the DoorDash guy to know that you like ordered all that food for yourself, so you like pretend like there's someone at home. Like, oh, the pizza's here or whatever. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just I'm buying a bunch of National Enquirers and erotica and fifth of tequila. Oh, I'm going to a child's birthday.
Child's birthday.
Yeah.
Gotta start them young.
This is not specifically grocery store related, but I did have this incident where I went to like a chain pharmacy that I don't think exists in our small town, and I got some insoles, I think, and I put the insoles into my cowboy boots and walked to the end of my property, which is not that far, and I could tell that the insoles broke like by the end of my driveway. And I was like, oh, these are fucked up. I just bought these. I am going to return them. I do a radio show here in the desert, and I was talking about these broken insoles, in that I was going to be returning them. And like, I was like, I've got them in a bag. I don't know how to return once worn insoles. That's kind of gross. I don't have the packaging anymore. And then I went to return them. And the person behind the register said, "Oh, I heard about you. I heard you were complaining about these on the radio today. I was really hoping that it wasn't our store."
Whoa.
Wow. Now that is grocery store celebrity times two. That's like local celebrity having a problem with the store.
Yes. I go out of town to buy my embarrassing stuff now. Like, that was like the last time I ever like bought insoles or like, you know, weird medicated shampoo or anything locally. I'm like, I do that out of town.
I mean, I think I said this on Nate's episode. The drugstore, you never want anybody to see what you're buying or to like recognize you. That's the one place that like just don't comment on whatever I got here. There's no good.
God, I know.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're buying that dye. Your roots are definitely showing today.
Oh, are you itchy? Are you itchy?
Yeah. Trader Joe's I don't think they could pull that off.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, antifungal.
Oh, have you tried that? Yeah. My dog gets that. Yeah.
So we kind of touched on this a little bit, but moving back to grocery stores, where are you shopping these days? You're in Los Angeles now, in the Highland Park area. You don't have to like give the specific addresses of stores and stuff like that, but like what's your shopping look like?
It is, I live in Highland Park and I don't have a car. So that affects my shopping greatly. I'm kind of like a daily shopper. And also, some of the time I'm working at a bar that serves food. So I do this really great 2025 thing, given the state of the economy, where I buy like a box of protein bars. And on days that I work, I'll just like wait and then I'll eat a bunch of food at work. So that's like anti-grocery shopping. But when I have to buy food, I'm usually like, just like a daily shopper. I'll get breakfasts. I'll do like little Greek yogurt kind of situation, or stuff to make like scrambles, quesadillas. Actually, I haven't bought eggs in a while. So mostly snacky things. Cheese and bread, different forms of cheese and bread. I am a fan of like, I don't know, man. I really love the South Pass Trader Joe's too. Like if I can get there and then
Is that the
figure out
one?
a way to get back. Yeah, the little one. There is a new one.
Okay. Is that the first one, the one in South Pasadena?
No, the first one's on Arroyo, I think. That one is like closer into Pasadena off the 110.
I think that's the one I'm thinking of. I don't know if I know the South Pasadena. What makes it better than other Trader Joe's is?
It's like weirdly not like as I mean, it's not big. I don't like when a Trader Joe's is too big. You ever been in a Trader Joe's that like used to be a different grocery store and you're like, this is too wide? Like it's compact, but it's not too compact. You're not like, ooh, I'm just in a liquor store that is selling kimchi pancakes or whatever. But
Root beer pieces.
yeah, root beer pieces. But it's a good size. So it's not too small. It's not too big. It's not disarming either way. It's on a nice like corner lot too. It's really scenic to get to. I live kind of far from it now, but for the last few years I used to live like half a mile from there, and I would kind of on that other side of Highland Park, and I would walk over there through like the park in South Pasadena, and it felt like I was like foraging in a way. Like it felt very like European, like, oh, I'm on foot with my satchel and I'm going to go get like a baguette and some Kerrygold butter or whatever. That was really nice. And that's just like, even though, we have so many grocery stores in Highland Park and I do hit them all depending on literally the utility of my transportation. Am I borrowing someone's car? Am I walking home? What am I getting? Do I work tonight? Do I even have to eat today? Or can I just like scarf some meatballs over a trash can in 6 hours?
Have you ever done grocery shopping on I don't want to give the brand name because I hate them, but those horrible little scooters that dot the Los Angeles sidewalks? Have you ever like had your satchel on those?
No, I like won't take those. I've never taken one. They freak me out. They seem like a huge liability. Like I don't know where to go. I have tons of social anxiety and I feel like they're just dorky. Our friend Joey takes them from West Hollywood to Highland Park TV when we shoot sometimes. And I'm like, how did you spend 40 minutes on that thing? And you were going, what, down like 3rd or Beverly or something? That's crazy.
Have you ever shopped? Have you ever like carried a package or a grocery bag on one of those scooters?
No, I've only been on those a handful of times, and they always feel real dangerous. And I like motorcycles or mopeds or whatever. That's fun, but those things, I don't know. I do not like those things. So yeah, taking it 40 minutes through LA, through like literally the most heart of LA you could be driving, I would not want to do that.
It's what Meg got hit by a car on one.
Really?
Our friend Meg got hit by a car on one of those nameless brand app-driven scooters, and she just flew and got like a major concussion. And what do you do? I mean, no one's walking around with a helmet to ride. They're stupid. Boo scooters. I mean, whatever. They're fine. Any transit is good. It's good for people to get around, but whatever. Lame.
We had a friend who used a scooter accident as a cover for a like more heinous injury. Like we went to visit this friend, and she was like, her face was just all wounded and like black and blue, and we're like, oh, what happened? It's like, oh, I had a drink and was on one of those scooters and I fell off the horrible scooter. And then like later on we found out actually like she fought off a mugger and like like got punched in the face several times and like,
ooh.
Yeah, but good cover because everybody knows those scooters are terrible and dangerous, I guess.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
She didn't want us to worry, so she's like, oh, I just got drunk and fell off a scooter.
Damn. This is a very woman-coded thing. Like, I'm going to not have anyone worry about me. I'm going to experience violence in the street, and then I'm going to, like, tell a cover so that people don't ask me weird questions.
Yes. She came clean eventually, but we were like, oh, you shouldn't have been on that scooter. This seemed dangerous.
Yeah, when the line of scooters punch you in the face, it's crazy.
Do we have any more to head? Do we want to talk about the topic? Or
Let's go to the topic.
Jordyn, I hear you're quite excited about this topic.
Yeah. Just by virtue of being alive and eating only junk food. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm really excited to pick this. So I think this is like our 14th or 15th episode. I'm at the point where we're starting to lose count. But like before we recorded any of this of this show, Clean Up on Our podcast, and people were like, what is this podcast about? I used this topic of like fancy ice cream as like, this is what the show is. We talk like, we're going to talk fancy ice cream. So like, I've been dying to talk about fancy ice cream. How much fancy ice cream are you eating?
A lot. We have a Jenny's in Highland Park that just opened. What? Why are you laughing?
No, we are too. We're on your side.
Yes.
We're on your side.
I eat so much fancy ice cream, but it's outrageous.
Yeah.
Here, are we having a party later?
Yeah.
Oh, 6 pints of ice cream for you and 5 friends? Yeah. I have 5 friends.
Mm-hmm.
I live near a Jenny's, so I do get that a lot. But I've always loved like adventurous flavors of ice cream. I grew up in the Bay Area, and when I was a kid, the first adventurous flavor of ice cream, like fancier flavor that I can remember having, was a pineapple coconut flavor. I think that was the first ice cream flavor I had that was not vanilla, chocolate, strawberry. And I picked it. And I remember my mom being like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, pineapple coconut." It was good.
Where was it? Did you say the name of the place?
Okay, this was at Pier 39. We were like there with my cousins for some sort of like family, take the camera, run around, whatever. And there was this 3D animation show playing in one of those like stupid little tourist theaters called Haunted Mineshaft in 3D. My cousin and I were like 8, and we really wanted to see Haunted Mineshaft in 3D. So we just kept going, Haunted Mineshaft in 3D for hours. And my mom was finally like, if you guys shut up, I will take you to that Haagen-Dazs store, Haagen-Dazs, and buy you ice cream. And we did. And that was where I picked pineapple coconut. And it changed my life. And even to this day, I'm still an adventurous flavor person. Salt and straw, Jenny's. I mean, that's very millennial, but yeah.
Not that it was particularly fancy, but like I grew up in Southern California, and we had like Baskin Robbins, which was 31 flavors. And I always felt like I never did it, and I probably never even tried 15 of the flavors, but you go to a place that's called 31 flavors, and as a child, you're like, that's a challenge. I'm going to try all these flavors here. And that kind of maybe built a new generation, or like a new type of young person who's like keen to try weirder ice cream flavors. Like, ooh, butter pecan, what's that? Like, I used to get a margarita flavored Baskin Robbins, and now I grew up to be a weird alcoholic. So it all is like
there was a root beer float at Baskin Robbins that I still think about. It was only limited time, but it was maybe my favorite ice cream I've ever had in my life. It was really good. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, good.
They like wove in like root beer, like gelato to like vanilla ice cream. It just like the ratios were perfect. Yeah, it hit.
I mean, I'm having this kind of epiphany right now, but maybe like this trend in like higher end pints of ice cream is like, you know, this is the grim and gritty reboot of like they're making X-Men movies for adults now. But we had it when we were a kid. We watched X-Men cartoon, but now that we're adults, we go spend, you know, $10 on a ticket to go see Wolverine cuss with Deadpool. You know, like
I think you're onto something with that. I think that's truly like the force of the nostalgia economy. Also with like the treat economy as well. Like we're not doing necessarily all the time like huge lavish dinners or whatever. But if you're having the Graza brand X whatever fancy olive oil ice cream with goat cheese and brambleberry, you're like, oh, like it's for sure we're primed for that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I can have a delicacy for $8.50. Yeah.
My first experience with having kind of fanciest ice cream actually was like, I started dating my partner right when I moved away from New York back to Southern California. And there was a place in Silver Lake called Scoops, I think it was. And on our first date, she had said, you've got to try this new ice cream place. You could get olive oil ice cream. You could get brown bread ice cream. And I think we went there on our third or fourth date. And I was a little underwhelmed by it. But
man, I know it sounds so good. There's also in Pasadena, there is this like tiny Italian restaurant. I forget the name, but they've got this gelato selection that is so old school and so like it's not coming out of the containers with the pieces and it's not like for display. It's just these like really, really utilitarian old school gelato bins, and they have flavors like that. They do like goat cheese that's really good. They do like savory ones that are incredible, and those are not underwhelming. So if you want to give it another try, go to that spot in Pasadena. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's like a lot of like, let me ask, how far is too far for you? Like what's as weird as you're willing to go with an ice cream flavor?
When you're talking, so it's not a distance thing, but it's like the out there-ness of a flavor, right?
Yeah. Like brown bread, you said was like I'll try it. It sounds intriguing, but like I don't know how I feel. Given that knowledge, like
that's
what's
pushing
the
me a
flavor
little.
You'd have?
Yeah, brown bread's pushing me a little too far for comfort. It doesn't sound good. I mean, I like bread, but everything I like about bread could not be converted into ice cream form.
Do you like the texture?
I like the texture.
The crust.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think goat cheese is honestly a little bit far, and I say that as like I like a cheesecake, and I've bought cheesecake flavored ice cream before, but even when I'm eating cheesecake flavored ice cream, I'm like, this is maybe the outer limits of like what I'm comfortable with, like the tartness and like putting cheese in ice cream. Like it's a little weird, and when you start adding that goat cheese, that might be like that may be like my breaking point.
Oh, I know what I had. When I was a kid on the East Coast, and I was in like a touristy lobster town, they had lobster and butter ice cream that I had.
Ew.
Yeah, I had it.
Was it good?
No. I mean, it's, I guess, kind of like the olive oil one where, like, it kind of worked a little bit, but not really. Yeah. I mean, and I've had olive oil work before, but I've also had it where it's so salty and savory that it's almost like, I don't know if I should be having this. Yeah.
Yeah, the savory stuff gets weird, I think, because of like the fat content of ice cream. I think because it keeps the flavor in there for so long. You're just like living and you're like, oh, this is lobster and butter, and it's not going away. It's like coating my mouth, and I'm in this like never ending moment of flavor. You're like, damn.
There's so Salt and Straw, who we're not really going to cover because I don't know if Salt and Straw has made its way into grocery stores yet.
I haven't seen it.
But a high-end ice cream place, and For my co-host, we bought him, like, they do a 6-pack that you can get shipped around the country. So my co-host on my morning show that I do, for a birthday, we got him the Salt and Straw 6-pack of flavors. And 2 of them were really strange. And one, like, he liked one of them and one of them didn't hit. The one that hit was, it was like ham and jam kolaches flavor. And it had, like, I don't know if it was prosciutto or whatever, but definitely had, like, chunks of pork in it.
He liked that one? That one
I
worked?
think we tried that on the radio, and I remember it being pretty good. And the other one was like a habanero, like, IPA sorbet. And he said it was way too spicy.
Good.
I don't know if I want my ice cream to be spicy.
I don't like a beer to be spicy. So to combine that with ice cream, yeah.
I don't know. That one I could get down with. The ham, I don't like ham. The ham and the kolache, that's also like a regional pastry. Like, that is so niche. That is so...
Well, I think we had to look up what a kolache was. Like, we're both from Southern California. We didn't know kolache.
I don't know what a kolache is.
I just learned this from TikTok the other day. So it's really crazy you bring it up. I just found out what a kolache is as well. And I don't know. Differing, too, by region, because the actual Polish kolache is like a fruit Danish similar thing. But once it's had been assimilated into America, it became more of like a ham and cheese pastry situation. So there's like varying takes on it.
It's like from Texas, right? Or that's where, like, they've Americanized it. It, like, immigrants brought it to Texas, and it's like a Texas treat now. So,
Yeah.
Jef, would you do a jellied eel ice cream?
you know, probably. So, my sister lives in London, and I'm leaving this week to go visit her. We're going to Paris and London for a couple weeks, and my sister used to live on Broadway Market in London, and there was this old-fangled bakery that would make jellied eels and starry pie, which is eel and aspic. And then the starry pie is like that. It's eels baked in, like, they twist the eels around the top of it's like the catechus, like the medical symbol, with the snakes around the pastry at the end. I love eel.
That's gorgeous.
Aspic is just unflavored Jello.
Exactly. It's probably like eel gelatin. It's like the fat from the eel rendered and turned into gelatin.
That's so gnarly. They should spell messages with the eels. Picture happy birthday in cursive.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I would want to try a jellied eel before I said I would have the ice cream. But I can see eel as a protein working in an ice cream capacity. Like, I do love eel. And I think, like, maybe Jenny Splendid could do it. Maybe Salt and Straw could do it, you know?
You know what I do like is the sushi eel that's cooked and not actually a sushi, but that's good. I could see that working, honestly.
That's got that like savory soy kind of glaze.
Yeah.
A soy thing could go really, really well in ice cream. I used to work at a Chinese restaurant, and they would do chili crisp on like a vanilla ice cream. So those savory, sweet, like.
I just bought. We have a market in town. It's an Asian market that just opened up, and it's very cool. It's small. It's a little fancy, which I like. And I'm a big fish sauce user. So my partner has said, cool it on the fish sauce. I put fish sauce in every fucking thing I cook. And she said, hey, maybe just chill out a little bit on the fish sauce. However, we did go and buy, it's Red Boat brand, who I'm obsessed with the Red Boat fish sauce. It's like a new school, like American Thai immigrant guys founded their own fish sauce company. And they have like a high-end smoked fish sauce. That we bought a bottle of. It was like $30. And we were talking with the owner of the shop, Ginger Rabbit in Yucca Valley. And she suggested we put some of it on ice cream. The smoked fish sauce is like a syrup. You're making a face.
Sounds like vanilla ice cream?
Yeah.
Oof. Did you try it?
I
Yeah.
haven't done it yet.
Try it.
Yeah.
You're getting lobster roll flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if I've liked any of these savory ones for sure. I think I've been like, oh, that's interesting, but like I would never order any of these again. Even the olive oil, which is probably the best version of that I've had. So that smoked fish sauce over ice cream, no.
All right, maybe seafood is the final frontier of ice cream flavors.
Fish and dairy is just like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm working at an Italian spot now where that's like a sin. You like don't do seafood and dairy, but like, it like grosses me out.
Not even a lobster bisque?
Not even a lobster bisque. I don't like lobster. I like crab. I like crab. I like especially when in Maryland, like you do the little blue crab or whatever, crab cakes. Lobsters are like, they're too meaty. It's too much. And like, it's sweet. It tastes like latexy too. There's like a weird like plasticky note to it. I don't know. Lobster's gnarly. I'm a cheap date.
For the record, in Maryland, we don't really do too much dairy with the crab cake. I mean, maybe like a little bit of like tartar, like tartar sauce or something like that, but barely anything. Not dipped.
Yeah, just that classic seafood boil, good. Crab, great. You got other things with it, enough carb to balance it out. But like, I can't just take like a full-on lobster claw to the dome. That's like too much. This is the through line here is like the concentration of flavor you gotta cool it. Like we're going crazy. It's crazy.
I'm gonna hopefully throw out a really hot take that I've never put this together. I'm just developing this hot take right now, and I have a very gross version of it. One of my favorite food writers, it's Albert Bernayko, who used to do Fligsten for Deadspin. Like it was a sports website, and he would just write recipes that were my favorite things to do. He has this insanely delicious clam chowder recipe, and when you're reading the recipe, he encourages you. He's like, you're going to make this at home and you're going to say, I'm not going to add that much butter. I'm not going to add that much cream. But if you're doing my recipe, you have to add all the butter and cream that I tell you to do. It's an awesome recipe. And the last time I made it was like a year ago, and we made a big batch of it and popped it in the refrigerator. And the refrigerator died while the clam chowder was in there, unbeknownst to us. So a couple days later, we're like, oh, let's have clam chowder again. And my partner and I got devastatingly ill from the clam chowder that was not refrigerated properly.
Oh my God.
Yes. With that said, thinking of like, what is clam chowder if not clam ice cream? I mean, if you added all that butter and
it's not ice cream. It's not sweet at all.
The clams make it a little sweet. You're not adding sugar to it, but it's just melted clam ice cream.
Just because it's the same color doesn't make it ice cream.
If you froze clam chowder, would it scoop? Like, it's got such high fat content. I mean, I said fat content like 20, fat content count of 22, but it really, I mean, I wonder if you could.
I bet you could. If you put in an ice cream maker and like whatever they do is spinning it or whatever, I bet you could make it pretty easily into ice cream. Ooh, I would not. Well. Have you ever had a non-sweet ice cream? Is that something that exists? It could exist, but nobody does it. Because I feel
like a lot of the time.
Yeah, but even the olive oil is like it's like got a base of sweetness. At least the one that I had. I don't know.
I had a cheese paletta that I thought was going to be more like a cheesecake. The labeling, when it says cheese, I think it's going to be like cheese confection, cream cheese. And it was orange cheese paletta, and it just tasted like cheddar cheese. That one was not for me.
You know, there is a contemporary, like common popular ice cream that I really enjoy that I don't think is particularly sweet. It's the Haagen-Dazs green tea flavor, which it's not. I mean, I'm sure that there's some sugar in it, but I don't think of it as like a sugary. It's more of a savory ice cream. It's like the closest commercially available savory ice cream that I can think of at the moment.
I like green tea ice cream. I know, I see what you're getting at, and it is. I see. Like, I don't disagree, but I also don't think it's clam chowder. It's still sweet in a way that clam chowder is not.
That's it. You stop green tea, next stop clam.
Yeah.
So speaking of Haagen-Dazs, and this kind of gets to one of the things that I wanted to hit on this episode, and I call it the fancy creep of ice cream. So, and again, I'm using as the start of this timeline my own life. I was born in the 80s, And when I was a kid, I remember seeing commercials for Breyers and for Haagen-Dazs. And that was like them saying, the new fancy ice cream has arrived. Like, this is the new hotness. You know, Dreyer's, Baskin-Robbins, that's old busted joint, to quote Men in Black 2, of course. But, like, they were, like, throwing the gauntlet down, like, we're fancy now. Here's fancy ice cream for you to try.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all remember this kind of...
Very vividly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The, like, black cartons felt fancy. The black packaging, and I can remember like the commercials having black, maybe velvet backdrops or some sort of seamless, and it felt very like
and like a British announcer and classical music playing in the background. Yeah.
They had the mint like always on the vanilla ice cream to like it was properly garnished and stuff. So I was doing a little digging. And Breyers was actually the very first manufacturer of ice cream in the United States. Straight up and down. Like, obviously people were making ice cream beforehand, but they were like the OG, like, factory guys. Like I don't have the name of the guy that invented William A. Breyer. He's the original, like, ice cream baron. So.
Wow. Do they have any ownership over the churning method? Like, does it go back that far? Like, do they have like the, industrial patents and stuff? Are they like the ice cream guys?
I don't know if they ever patented it. I mean, it probably existed in forms before Breyer. I didn't go back that far.
So I did go back. And basically it all comes down to technology, as a lot of this stuff does. So like, and I'll be real quick about this, but ice cream used to be fancy people's stuff because ice itself was fancy people's stuff. You couldn't get iced. Mm-hmm. And then in the mid 1800s is when industrialized ice started to get better shipment and better methods for storing it. So that's when more working class, more regular people started to enjoy ice cream, but it was still sort of handmade in a way that you could imagine someone churning it. And then the early 20th century, so early 1900s, that's when Breyers started, I think. And I don't know exactly.
1915 was when he had his first ice cream truck.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
And by 1918, they were producing 1 million gallons of ice cream. So it's like that's the window in which they went from just like, I'm a guy with ice cream to get back to work. No unions.
That's like, they need like a David Fincher kind of situation about this scaling. 3 years? That's insane.
Yeah, that is actually really insane, especially with the technology at the time. Like, I don't know. I really want to know their, shipping methods and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then it sold to a bigger company in 26, but like they sold the Breyers brand to Kraft in 1976. And that's probably when I start to think that's around when Haagen-Dazs is coming out as well. I think maybe that's when Breyers was rebranding as like, oh, we're actually fancy. And here is the mint and the English narrator. So.
Yeah, because you also that was industrialized ice cream at that point. You had store brand stuff. So that's what they're differentiating from. They're elevated from that.
And you're an East Coast person, Adam. Yes. But there's the Edie's Dreyer's thing.
Yeah.
Which sounds very similar to Breyers, but it was Dreyer's was a different company, mostly operating on the East Coast, and it didn't really make its way to the West Coast. Am I getting this right?
No, Edie, I don't really understand. There was Edie's and Dreyer's were like partners, and then they had some kind of a split, but it's also the same companies now, so I don't entirely understand that part. But I know for sure that on the East Coast, I grew up with Edie's, and it was like going into a Black Mirror episode when I first came to the West Coast, and I saw Dreyer's, and it was the exact same font and I was very used to it, but I was like, what is this? And yeah, anyway.
Were you equally as astounded by Carl Jr.? You were like, oh, I know Hardee's, but...
I was a little bit weirded out by that. Oh, and the other one that's like that is Otter Pops. We didn't have Otter Pops. We had something called Flavor Ice. And I think it might even be the same company, but they didn't call them Otter Pops. So that was another one. Yeah.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So you were buying a huge amount of Flavor Ice and then saying, I'm going to, it's for my kid.
No, I was in LA. I was a grown adult.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anything more about the early part of the ice cream century?
No, just that it sort of tracks with our frozen vegetable episode, which is that in the 40s, 50s, 60s is when people started to get home refrigeration equipment, and that's when you start to see the supermarket stuff really exist.
Yeah, that's when they started like getting like the freezer technology was more common, and any corner store could have access to refrigeration units and things like that.
Oh, the one thing I'll say is that you know how there's this like bullshit boomer nostalgia for like ice cream parlors and that kind of a thing. The reason why those existed was that they were the only people that had the freezers that could do that. The reason why everyone would go to get a root beer float or whatever is because you didn't have that at your house. So that's why it's nostalgic and classic or whatever.
Well, it's more classist than classic, right?
Yeah.
Like it makes industrial freezers and then malt machines and whatever. It was like only. And now we've got like Ninja Creamies and stuff. It's so
Wait, what's Ninja
crazy.
Creamy?
A Ninja Creamy is an ice cream, like a home ice cream maker where you can really, this is where you're bringing your clam chowder to life. You can put like any ingredients you want. I haven't used one because it's like for rich people, but it's like you put any ingredients you want in the chamber and then it's sort of got that Ninja blender thing. You blend it all together and then you freeze it for like an hour, freeze it for a day. You freeze it for 24 hours, and then you put it through the ice cream maker, and it spits out supposedly like high quality soft serve to scoopable ice cream. They look really cool.
I want to try that.
My grandma, my mom grew up on a farm outside of Bakersfield, and I remember going to visit my grandma on the farm, and she'd have like the old fangled ice cream maker that's like a canister and like a wood canister, and you fill it up with rock salt, and she'd just let it rotate on her porch for like 24 hours to make like pomegranate ice. So
that seems so good.
Yeah, definitely really good.
So, all right, my hypothesis for the fancy ice cream creep is that Breyers and Haagen-Dazs, and we probably should talk a little bit about Haagen-Dazs as well.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting story because Haagen-Dazs totally made up name. Like, it's just like this guy from the Bronx, I would think, who wanted to sell a higher quality. He was like an ice cream salesman selling like whack ass ice cream. And he's like, well, I gotta sell some decent stuff to make some money. So he invented the name Haagen-Dazs. Do you know why he went with the Danish? This is wild.
I do, but tell the audience. Because he was Jewish, and he World War II was relatively fresh in everyone's memory, and the Danish people were very kind to the Jewish population, so he wanted to honor them in that way.
Yeah. So it's like a nice Holocaust story for the name of the ice cream, I guess.
Yeah,
so
you're right. It's the opposite of Volkswagen or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I saw this story where like his daughter remembers him sitting around the house like making up nonsense words and like seeing which ones like went well together. And I would say like, how do I get that job? But he like invented the job of like making up fake Danish words, and kudos to him. Like
it clearly worked. It sounds fancy even to this day. Even if I know that it's a magic trick, it still sounds fancy and European.
It's grammatically incorrect. Like Danish does not work the way that Haagen-Dazs is. I was reading a breakdown. They're saying there's no Danish words that have the S and the Z next to them. And I think the umlaut's misused as well. So
They're just throwing it all on there. Why not?
yeah. Jordyn, obviously you went to a Haagen-Dazs scoop shop at a pivotal age you were talking about, but like, were you interested in Haagen-Dazs? Like what was your impression of Haagen-Dazs as a child?
I think my impression of Haagen-Dazs as a child is exactly the same as it is now, which is like artificially fancy. And what's crazy is they didn't even have like the mint leaves. It's funny that we're talking about like Dreyer's as having the like dark packaging and the like luxury kind of like commercials are shot like cat food commercials, like in a fancy way, like these like close-ups with the mint in the bowl and whatever. Haagen-Dazs is like And this could literally just be because I'm an idiot, but I'm like, it's giving like, I don't know, also kind of Adidas. Like, I don't know, like there's some sort of like prestige. It's that European. I am so dumb. It is literally dumb American. I'm like, that's my association. Fancy. It's European. Like, it's still that. It's still that. And I've been to fancy European ice cream shops. There's this like famous one in France called Bertillon, which is like very touristy, but I remember having in Paris like a scoop of salted caramel ice cream before the salted caramel phase really happened here. And I was like, it was mind blowing. And still, I forget that I've been there and I remember Haagen-Dazs as fancy. Like, that is some crazy brand. That guy was making up words and it worked. That's wild. Like, I've been to the fancy ice cream place.
Yeah, he's dope. He's like a pretty good dude.
Yeah.
I think. I mean,
I don't know.
he did a...
He doesn't like Nazis. So.
Yeah, he's an anti-Nazi. A good start.
Yeah.
So both, like, all right, so Breyers sold to Pillsbury, I think, in 1976, and then Haagen-Dazs, Pillsbury bought Haagen-Dazs in 1983, and I forget who bought Breyers in 76, but it's when they both get bought and taken like more nationally that I think is when this like branding that we are fancy happens, right? That's my impression of it.
Yeah, totally.
And that coincides with me being born in 1984 and like starting to see commercials for ice cream on TV and stuff like that.
Yes.
And maybe we should talk about grades of ice cream now that we're getting into the fancy stuff. So there are very specific grades of like what counts as economy, standard, premium, and super premium. And I forget if Haagen-Dazs was being like listed as like a premium. I don't think it was super premium, right?
No, I don't have that. I think it's premium, but not
Yes.
super premium. Yeah.
But as you were talking about, Jordyn, it's related to fat content and overrun, which I believe is like the amount of air that's whipped into the cream.
Yeah, I'm like a big fan of the like really crappy frozen dairy confections. Like, they can't even call it ice cream. Sometimes they have those down at my grocery store, and they'll be like the most atrocious flavors. It'll be like Twinkies, like you hate yourself. I want it. Frozen dairy confection. It's like not even on that list.
Yeah.
My parents, who are relatively fancy people, my dad is obsessed with like, I don't know which store, but it's a store brand chocolate frozen dairy dessert, like not even like hitting the level of ice cream calling it. And like you just got like 3 cartons of it all the time in his house, in his freezer.
Jef, can I ask you a Southern California question?
Please.
Did you grow up with Thrifty ice cream in the
absolutely
drugstore?
Was that not a national thing? Is
No,
that specific?
that is a very Southern California thing.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So Thrifty was a pharmacy, and we would go to that pharmacy. It's like a chain pharmacy, and get the ice cream. They gave it to you in like the little like the gun scooper. They stick it in, and then it extracts like a cylinder of ice cream from the tub, and they put it on a sugar cone. And so I believe it got bought by Rite Aid, who just went out of business, and the brand got bought by Monster Energy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I've been talking about this a lot on my morning show, actually. I'm like very well versed in what's going on with this. If we can do a divergent, if we can do a tangent.
Why not?
The Thrifty stuff. So it's not like a premium ice cream, but it is beloved. It's very nostalgic for a lot of people.
It's equivalent to Baskin Robbins, I would say. Yeah.
And they do still sell it in stores, but people were like, what is this? What's going to happen with this brand as Rite Aid goes out of business? So Monster Energy bought it, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it, because after they bought it, I did some digging into Monster Energy, and the guys that built the Monster Energy company, I think it was Hanson's Natural Sodas, if you remember those from the 80s.
I do.
They went out of business, and these entrepreneurs bought their plants and like all the rights to the soda, and they said, well, this natural soda is not working. Let's like make an energy drink. Like, let's use the same people, the same plants to manufacture Monster Energy, which has been a huge success. Local Southern California company. I drive past their big factory in, I think it's in Norco, Corona. And I'm just like, I'm kind of into what they did, and I'm kind of into what they're going to do with Thrifty. I'm excited to see how that shakes out.
All right.
I grew up in like a motocross family. We all raced dirt bikes and traveled for it. So Monster Energy, specifically in the early 2000s, was everywhere. Damn, I want like a cylindrical scoop of neon green. Like, I wanted to burn my face off. That sounds awesome.
Soon enough.
Yeah, I don't know if they're like, I don't know what they're going to do. They've said they have plans for it. It's not going away. It just said, stay tuned is the latest on the Thrifty ice cream. So,
Should we get into Ben and Jerry's?
okay, this is big for me.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the ice cream from Haagen-Dazs sounding fancy, and it's like, well, also, you know, it doesn't, like, does the two dumb fucks from Vermont also, like, oh, we're just like, oh, home guys, we're farmers, we make our ice cream and put Snickers bars in it.
So cool. I did a book report on Ben and Jerry's in elementary school. That was
What
like
did you-
my first
What did you learn?
research. Mhm.
Yeah. What did you learn as a
learned-
child? Yeah. Sorry.
As a child, I learned that something about the way they really prioritize the quality and amount of mix-ins. It's all about like where they sit in the pint, and one scoop has to have like a certain percentage of solids as compared to the actual ice cream. And if I remember right, it's because one of the founders has issues with taste or smell.
Mm-hmm. It's Ben Cohen is the one who has severe anosmia, a lack of sense of smell. So he's like, put some crud in here to make it so that I can enjoy it too. I'm being very dismissive to Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah, I know you are being very.
I love Ben and
I'm
Jerry's.
curious, but it sounds like you have a shoe to drop, which I'm curious to hear because I'm pro Ben and Jerry's at this
Yeah,
point.
me too. I am. I've got some issues with a few of their things like down the line, and they're in the news at the moment.
Yeah, I want to talk about that as well.
September 2025.
Yeah.
But they started in 1977, and they wanted to open a bagel shop, but they said that the bagel stuff was too expensive to do, and ice cream was cheaper to make.
They went to a correspondence college at Penn State for creamery education, and that's how they learned how to do it.
And yeah, they started opening up some shops, and it became like kind of a going concern. Like people were like, "Hey, this is like ice cream with like a bunch of crap pushed into it," which I like. I like that, but they made some name by doing the world's largest ice cream sundae in 1983. 27,000 pounds of ice cream.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out I'm in the mid 80s, their distribution network. I couldn't find hard data about it, but what I did find is that all through the 80s, Haagen-Dazs was suing them because basically they were stealing their market. You know, they were the local guys with the fresh ingredients or whatever, and Haagen-Dazs like was suing them and trying to get supermarkets to not carry their stuff, and then they kept getting thrown out, and it was a major legal fight. Yeah.
I think some of the foundation for that legal fight might have even been that Haagen-Dazs invented like the circle pint. Like ice cream used to come in cubes. Actually, there's a quote from him where it's like shopkeepers were like, "Hey, we can't like store this ice cream correctly because you're doing it in these like circle containers." And the Haagen-Dazs guy was like, "Oh, it's not about how much you store, it's about how much you sell, and you'll sell more if you sell my little circle things." And so for Ben and Jerry's to be like, we're also a premium ice cream brand, we're also selling it in the little cans that Haagen-Dazs invented. You know, I can see that why Haagen-Dazs might move to squash them in their.
I could see why they want
the
to.
crib.
You can't own a circle.
Like, dude, it's a shape. I like Ben and Jerry's is so cool. They have the flavor graveyard too, their website. When I was a kid doing this book report, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. You could see like every flavor they had ever come up with and tossed out. Like that branding, man, that like had a chokehold on me as a child. They're cool.
Me too.
What are some of y'all's favorite flavors of Ben and Jerry's?
Ooh, I like fish food, which I'm not a chocolate ice cream person. I actually never, ever go for chocolate. I am always vanilla, but fish food I love. And when I talk to my mom, She told me it was all she ate when she was pregnant with me. So I have epigenetic fish food love.
I have to say I'm the exact same way with chocolate ice cream, and I'm the exact same way with fish food. Like, that's the only chocolate ice cream that I will consider eating. Like, I haven't had it in many years, but I love it's got like, I love the goo, I love the mix-ins. I'm all about that stuff. So
Yeah, that marshmallow cream.
mm-hmm.
And they have good non-dairy options. They have a non-dairy, the banana one is really, really good.
Adam, are you scouring the graveyard?
No, I'm trying to remember because I'm feeling dumb that there's a really famous gymnast who won a bunch of awards, and I don't remember her name, but she's got a flavor that I really like. It might be milk and cookies or something like that, which I really like. But pretty much all the non-dairy ones that I have had, I like. Although when they originally started, I thought they were whack as fuck. But after about 2 years, they changed their non-dairy formula, and now I get them fairly frequently.
Was it Carrie Strogan's is not Stroganoff flavor non-dairy ice cream?
It was not Carrie Stroke. I've also had I don't like buying like Jimmy Fallon ice cream, but it's pretty good.
It's so good. And now with this like Ben and Jerry's corporate sales issue and the like fascist attacks on talk show host, it feels like the most like you're like, damn, is this political resistance to be looking at Jimmy Fallon's face? Is this like by proxy some sort of like cultural thing that I'm doing?
I have to say I've never tried the Jimmy Fallon one because I don't think I could buy a Jimmy thing with Jimmy Fallon's face on it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, but you got to get over that.
I've never tried the ice cream. I don't want to.
It's so good.
My favorite of mine right now is the Netflix and chilled one. It's like a peanut butter ice cream with like salty pretzel ribbon in it and stuff like that. And I think maybe there's like some marshmallow too. I forget exactly what it is, but it's wild. And it's like a very like kind of, that ribbon is quite salty. It's like extra salty pretzel.
I love that. Give me some peanut butter, give me some salted caramel, the pretzel stuff, love it. Or cookie dough, any variation of that I'm going to be into.
This is maybe a good time to talk I've been obsessed with the innovations that Ben & Jerry's has brought to goo packing. So they did this for a while where it was like a core of goo in the middle of the pint where it was like, instead of extracting the cylinder from the Thrifty ice cream, they drill a cylinder down into the thing. And there was, it was like the peanut butter one was maybe the best ice cream pint I've ever had in my entire life. Totally discontinued, but y'all have favorite
See, I never tried the core one. I feel like that would stress me out because then you have to make the decision of what percentage you're taking, and then what if your brother takes a different, takes too much or something like that.
I'm not sharing this with anybody. This is personal use ice cream.
Yeah.
It's not for people with siblings. Only child ice cream. The cores were great. The peanut butter one is the best. The salty is really, really good. The chocolate, I'm like fudge core, whatever. I don't care. But the peanut butter one, that one was goated.
Then they've done some other wasn't there a 50-50 canister that was it was like a vanilla something with a chocolate and was split right in the middle? Am I remembering that correctly?
That seems right.
Okay. I was trying to find a list of their innovations, and it's been hard to find.
Well, the cookie dough is the big one, I think, that everybody uses now.
So Ben & Jerry's invented the cookie dough?
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. One of the top ice creams of all time.
Yeah. When I was a kid, Ben & Jerry's was the cool. There was, the parlors were like the salt and straw of their time. And maybe it was more of an East Coast thing, but it was huge everywhere, and everyone talked about it. And I used to go to the Ben & Jerry's factory in Vermont, which was super fun. As a kid, my parents should not have let me do this, but we would drive up to Vermont and we would get drunk at 17 years old, and then we would go to the Ben & Jerry's factory and we would get ice cream, and we'd go skiing sometimes, and then we would sometimes go into Canada and then get drunk there.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
I've never actually been to a Ben & Jerry's parlor. I think they opened up one in Long Beach, and it's possible like I went and got like a free cone on free cone day, but I couldn't justify going and having somebody serve me the ice cream that I was buying in the grocery store already. I'm like, I'll just go to the grocery store and save a couple bucks.
So I don't know exactly if this is true, but there was a period on the East Coast where it felt like the Ben & Jerry's parlor was the main way to get Ben & Jerry's. And maybe they had like one or two flavors at the grocery store, but the real, the juice was actually happening at the parlor, at least at that point, early 90s we're talking.
You're jogging some memory for me where like they didn't have the full shelf space that they have now. So like if you could get Chunky Monkey and Cherry Garcia or whatever. But if you wanted to try, fish food, maybe you had to go to the parlor to get the stuff. So.
I remember there's one in San Francisco. I went in like 2 years ago because I had to pee. I think that was my last time I went into a Ben & Jerry's scoop shop. Like literally the one at like Haight-Ashbury, as touristy as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, the distribution definitely has taken the luster off of it, which will probably happen to Salt and Straw soon enough.
Well, that's kind of the thing that I keep getting at. Like, Haagen-Dazs was the most famous, and then the most fancy, and then Ben & Jerry's was the most fancy, and now we're starting to see, and we'll get to them, but like, when I go to the grocery store, I'm seeing McConnell's. I did see Jenny's for the first time at my local store, but we'll get there. I want to stick with Ben & Jerry's for a little bit longer. When did they sell to Unilever? I believe it was in 2000. They sold themselves to Unilever for $326 million.
And in the acquisition agreement, Unilever agreed to carry on the company's tradition of engaging, quote, in these critical global economic and social missions that Ben & Jerry's was founded on, which will become very important to modern news.
Yes.
Ben & Jerry's has always been a lefty political thing. They've always been anti-war. They've always been pro-healthcare. They've always been friends with Bernie Sanders. And like that's been their zone from the very beginning, I would say up until now, but there's recent events that have that we're going to talk about.
Well, just before we get to the most recent events, do you know about the child labor scandal from 2023, which I didn't know about until researching just this morning? This is pretty wild, but I guess they were teaming up with Tony's Chocolonely bars to do an ice cream that would, again, a part of their goals is to, champion progressive causes and ending modern slavery and child labor in the chocolate industry. Shouldn't be like a progressive cause. You'd think that'd just be like a normal thing that you would maybe be against is child labor.
Yeah, child slavery. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But when they announced that, they got in the New York Times did an investigation and found out that they were employing illegal migrant children in 2023. Not Ben & Jerry's specifically, but dairy farms that were supplying.
Did you see what their worker said, or their head of value sourcing
said? Yes, but Jordyn, did you have to weigh in on this?
Yes, it's actually interesting you mentioned that because of all people on Earth, Mr. Beast was the one who keyed me into this child labor, dairy and chocolate thing. I mean, Tony's Chocolonely, their brand mission is obviously no slavery. Their pieces are unequal to represent inequality in the supply chain. But I was watching, I saw a clip of Mr. Beast, famous random giving money away YouTube guy. And he was he has a chocolate bar. And he was talking about how he wanted to do some sort of scaling with it, some sort of make the chocolate bar bigger. I don't know, some weird influencer stunt or something. And he basically just flat out told the interviewer that oh yeah, you can't make chocolates or confections without tons of child slavery. So I couldn't do it. And in a way, Mr. Beast became super progressive and based without even seeming like he was doing it. He was just talking about oh yeah, no, it's full of slavery, and accidentally blew the lid off this whole thing. It went super viral, and it was not news. He was just saying that you just can't do it. And so it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense that they found it in the ice cream supply chain. I didn't know about it though. That is really fascinating.
Well, I guess Ben and Jerry's the head of their values-led sourcing, Cheryl Pinto, might agree with Mr. Beast. Do you have that quote, Adam?
Yeah, she said, quote, no, I don't think she would agree with Mr. Beast. She would agree with damage control. She said, quote, if migrant children needed to work full-time, it would be preferable for them to have jobs at a well-monitored workplace.
What?
Cheryl Pinto from Ben and Jerry's said that. I mean, I guess it's the Unilever-owned Ben and Jerry's, but they're going to work. Make it nice.
Yeah.
Let them work in the ice cream factory.
Yeah.
Kids love ice cream. Come on. They're little hands.
So, like, all right, this is the thing. So we're kind of dancing around this, but I think it was this week or last week. I believe it's Jerry Greenfield is leaving Ben and Jerry's. He's broken up with Ben, and
They're still friends.
yeah, but he's leaving because the causes that they're championing are not being like recognized by Unilever.
Specifically, occupied Palestine is specifically the issue. So there's a lot of occupied Israel had an agreement going back, I think, since the 90s to license Ben & Jerry name and to sell its products. And they had been sort of trying to stop that out of a solidarity with the BDS movement. But these agreements were in place, so it became this huge legal battle. And then basically what happened is what seemed to have happened was they made kind of a shell company. And now the shell company sells the Ben & Jerry's license thing, but it has no financial gain for Ben or Jerry. And that was like the agreement, but I clearly they're still not happy with that, given the genocide that's happening. So Jerry left this week.
Mm-hmm. And he says, this is kind of where I get a little weird on this, because he said that when they sold Ben & Jerry's to Unilever way back in 2000, that they would still be able to be an independently operated little subset of the mega corporation and be able to like promote their values and run the business based on their values. But she says it's not happening, and that's why he's left. And again, I don't know the contracts and stuff, but I kind of feel like if you sell your company to the biggest corporation on the planet, which is Unilever, you have to expect that maybe they're not going to let you do everything that you want to do all the time. And I don't know. What do we think about that? Like,
I mean, I don't blame them for wanting a better world.
No,
and
they're selling out. Even like they made a huge amount of money,
but they had rock solid contracts that were probably really painful to get. And truthfully, for a long time, since 2000, the past 25 years, like they have been championing progressive causes. They have been on uncomfortable sides of history, on the right side, but uncomfortable for people with power. So I don't blame him for wanting to some degree to have his cake and eat it too, but clearly, like when the rubber hits the road, like here we are.
Yeah, I don't begrudge them for selling to the big company. I don't begrudge them. I'm sure they've done a lot of good by being aligned or being owned by the big company over the last 25 years, but that's going to bite you in the ass if you team them up with the big company. You get that bag, but they're not going to do everything that you want them to do all the time.
Yeah.
It strikes me as very indicative of the type of promise I think people thought could happen. I think more progressive people in like a post-Reagan world, businesses are coming up. They're like, well, maybe we can grow with this and keep our values. And there was this optimism that really existed in the 90s and 2000s that just doesn't exist anymore. So to see it on the 2025 side and be like, well, that didn't work. It's like not surprising. But if I'm removing the hindsight from it, I'm like, okay, benefit of the doubt. Let's say maybe these guys thought they could really make an impact and do it within that system. And sure, maybe we all come out ahead, because that was like the messaging that a lot of big, slightly center left to left wing messaging was like, do it within, like you can grow, ethical business.
Mm-hmm. Especially that specific era, which was during the late Clinton, pre-September 11th, pre-Iraq war. It was a different, belief. And I'm not defending like sort of the liberalism of it all, but I get it. Like I understand why they maybe, and truthfully, kind of surprisingly, I think they did hold on for longer than I would have
A lot
expected.
longer than anybody would have given him.
Yeah.
So, kudos to those guys. And I appreciate that he's like leaving or whatever. His name's still going to be on the ice cream. It's not going to be like Ben and the symbol, like from Prince or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I would try Prince flavored ice cream.
right.
So.
And for the record, both of them are pretty equally. It's not like Jerry is the radical and Ben is like the corporate guy. They both are on point with this lefty stuff. So who knows what the next step is going to be for Ben, I guess we'll say.
And I mean, also wild, that they're trying to like Unilever. Our friends at Unilever, the big corporation, the biggest food corporation in the planet, they are spinning off their whole ice cream portfolio into like a new company. So I think I have the full list. It is hold on.
The list of that Unilever owns?
Yeah,
I have
it's
it.
Talenti, which also we're going to get to Talenti in a little bit because that's the next fancy level up from Ben and Jerry's. But it's Talenti, it's Magnum, and is it one
Breyers, and Klondike too.
So they want to spin that off into its own little Magnum ice cream company. So they're going to demerge, which I guess we're at the part of the 21st century where you merge, and then you got to demerge once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. Yeah, my brain is going nuts in terms of the global economics of it all.
Anything you wanted to add about the unmerging of the Unilever's ice cream company?
I know that it doesn't matter what I think about any of these brands together, but that's like really shitty collection of, like, I hate Talenti, and so their jars are impossible to open. So maybe if they unmerge, they can figure out their
They're doing that right now.
packaging dilemma. Oh, really?
Yes, as of I think this last week, I'm looking for that article. Talenti has announced that they are doing larger jar lids, and they're looking for a more permanent solution to make their ice cream more easy to open.
God, get me on Shark Tank.
So let's get into the next wave.
Okay.
The new wave of fancy ice cream.
I mean, Talenti was kind of the one that came in after Ben and Jerry's. Like, they had the jar innovation. They said, we don't do it in carton. We have to have this impossible to open jar. And when you say that the jar is hard to open, what do you mean, Jordyn?
It's like, all right, plastic, firm, screw top, tight, width, smaller than hand, but not small enough. And just like the physics of it do not compute. And then also it's frozen. It's frozen to any moisture. If there's any moisture that's gotten into the components at all, you're expanding, you're contracting, you've got a layer of ice. It's stupid. It's a brick. It's like it's hermetically sealed.
Yeah. And in this era of anti-plastic, it feels like they went exactly the wrong direction of where we all are with it. So, yeah.
Unless they are going for like kind of like a French yogurt container thing, like they are really useful. I did have a Talenti jar that I kept a bunch of screws in for a while. Like that like hardy plastic is really cool. But like personally, I know it'll never happen, but in my mind, I'm like, if you're going to do that, like do keepsake jars. That'd be so cool. Like
Something in glass?
like the 70s.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I know you can't really freeze. I don't know how freezing and glass. And
Oh, yeah.
If there's one ship or something, someone will die. Yeah.
My partner reuses, I think she uses some of the Talenti ones. She sends me to work. She makes a big salad dressing for me on Sunday night. And then I put it on my salads throughout the week. And I think we've been getting those in Talenti jars lately. So we have been getting...
You know it's not leaking.
But does anybody like Talenti? I don't know if it's like actually something that people enjoy, even though they have a huge amount of shelf space.
It's for old ladies. It's for old ladies.
Yeah.
I'm not that old yet. I don't.
Every time I get a Talenti, I'm always a little underwhelmed. I'm like, I wish I just got like a Ben and Jerry paid up. Like, I'll buy it when it's on sale. And that's the thing I've noticed. There's always one premium ice cream that's on sale. It's either Haagen-Dazs or Ben and Jerry's or Talenti. It's never two, definitely never three. So I'm like, am I getting Haagen-Dazs or am I getting Ben and Jerry's? Depends on what's on sale, I guess. So... And Talenti is now owned by Unilever as well. It is, do you have the date that it got bought?
I don't have that date.
2014. International food conglomerate Unilever
Hooray.
Bought the brand in 2014. So there you go. And now they're spinning it off. And then what's some of the next like fancy creep?
So, all right, I've got a bunch of them, but I guess Jenny's would probably be the next one.
I gotta disagree.
Yeah.
At least locally. Well, first of all, McConnell's. I wasn't seeing Jenny's in my local shops, but I would get McConnell's when I lived in LA at like a Gelson's, and we're like, oh, this is the fancy stuff that only Gelson's has right now. And McConnell's, who I still really, really like their ice cream, they are a 70-year-old ice cream brand that was going out of business in Santa Barbara. And Michael Palmer and his family also lived in Santa Barbara. His house burned down in a wildfire, and he used the insurance money to buy McConnell's. And so that was in 2008.
Okay.
So McConnell's has been like, he took the successful ice cream brand that maybe wasn't being run well in the 21st century and said, I think I could do it, and started getting it around. And like, I was probably buying McConnell's from the Gelson's in 2013, 2014 back in the day.
Okay. Jordan, can you think of some other sort of mid-era fancy ice creams? I'm struggling for it right now.
Free McConnell's.
Yeah.
Free McConnell's or
around that time. That area.
I've got one, but I think it's questionable whether it's a premium. I mean, it's a different category.
What?
Halo Top.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't had an eating disorder for a while, so I actually don't partake in Halo Top anymore. But I remember that. I remember Halo Top. I mean, it's still there. I just don't eat it because it's like whatever.
I don't want to say people got over their eating disorders in the pandemic, but 2017 was when Halo Top dropped.
Okay.
Super popular, like the most explosive ice cream category of all time. And then when the pandemic hit, everybody went back to eating just normal ice cream.
Yeah.
After that.
Like no one's watching me.
But yeah, so I mean, when I'm going to my local, the Vaughn's is probably the fanciest grocery store we have here in Yucca Valley. And we were getting McConnell's for, I know, probably starting in 2020 at our local Vaughn's, but they just started getting Jenny's in. And I do have a photograph. There's only 3 Jenny's at the Vaughn's in Yucca Valley today. I can't, there's the ooey butter cake, brambleberry, and we should have printed this out in color. Brambleberry chip and the butter almond brink or something like that.
Okay. Well, do they have Van Leeuwen, which is going to be the next one I'm going to talk about? Did they have that there?
I don't know if I've ever seen Van Leeuwen outside of a specialty store.
I have.
Okay.
I 100% have. I mean, maybe like Whole Foods, if that counts as a specialty store.
No, that's a normal grocery store these days, ever since Jeff Bezos bought it.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So you have been seeing Van Leeuwen around?
Yes, I have, for sure. 100%.
I've been to their trucks, but I've never bought a carton of the Van Leeuwen.
So it is right now, I think it's pretty much the fastest growing because they got bought by not a macro conglomerate, but like a venture thing that's really trying to turn them into the next whatever. Ben & Jerry's really is what they're trying to turn them into. So here's my angle. There is a phrase that they use called health halo. And what that basically means is you take something that's not healthy and you add certain words to it or certain stories to it, and you sort of circumvent the part in the person's brain where they're like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this, So whether it's organic, whether it's grass-fed or natural, or no antibiotics, or it's just a story of a local farmer that is right down the street or something like that. All of those are considered the health halo. And
artisanal, perhaps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think going all the way back to Breyers in the 90s, that was their selling point. They were like 3 ingredients or something like that, 5 ingredients. And like, you'd be like, oh, well, it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup or whatever. So you would have that halo of health or whatever. And right now I went on Whole Foods and I tried to like put a bunch of ice cream in my fake cart. And there were so many different brands. Some of them I had hadn't heard of. And all of them were competing on this specific thing. Like, what is our global, like, anti-climate change story? What is our story about, the health of the cows and their, how their milk is processed? What is our story about the lack of ingredients or the lack of, like, processed and weird chemicals or something like that? And they're all fighting basically the same battle, which was kind of surprising to me to some degree.
I mean, that's maybe the paradigm that Ben and Jerry's like put down, that, hey, we're just like some yokels from Vermont making good old fashioned ice cream with a positive message. And Van Leeuwen is now owned by, like you said, corporate raiders.
It's some venture capital.
Same thing.
Yeah, but they're a venture capital for the benefit of the earth, kind of a anti-climate change venture. Yeah,
we're the good guys.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, not we gentle parent the cows.
I've never bought a tub of Van Leeuwen. I've been to the ice cream place. I think they were doing like a collabo or like an exclusive at Walmart. I think they were doing like a Kraft macaroni and cheese flavored ice cream that you could only get at Walmart. Some people around the radio station were trying to track that down. Thankfully, they were unable to. I did not have to experience that. That's also, bridge too far for me, mac and cheese. So, but if they're in Walmart and Whole Foods, I mean, obviously they're doing well.
So in 2024, Crumble Cookies is outpaced both in sales and unit growth by Van Leeuwen ice cream. It is new to the top 500 companies or food companies, but it's already the fastest growing dessert concept, and it's in the top 15 fastest growing for food in general, ahead of Wingstop, Cava, and Raising Cane's by sales growth percentage. So,
wow.
They're rocketing up the charts. We will be seeing them a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's why their rebrand was impressive too. Their cartons, I really love, like, not to simp for this evil whoever they are now, but like their cartons are really pretty. They've got the color wash. I think they did a good job.
I agree. They're really good design. I like the color, the specific colors that they choose. It's like they're really pretty, and the typeset and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, for the record, they have very good vegan options, which taste very good, but I still pretty much buy Ben & Jerry's more often than not.
All right. And then, I mean, we've kind of talked about it, but does everybody think Salt and Straw is going to be maybe the next one that starts hitting grocery stores at some point?
Yeah, no, because they have... Okay, so Salt and Straw gives me, like, strong Republican vibes. Like, it just feels like... I don't know why. It feels like your, like, MAGA grandma found, like, a flavor of ice cream that you'd like. I don't know why. Because I know they're, like, from Oregon or something. Like, I don't know, but something about it gives me a weird sense of trepidation.
It's got, like, Orange County, like, we're on vacation vibes. I don't know why.
They have a giant scoop shop in downtown Disney now, so it's weird to see how they're growing. That's like it's like interesting to me that they're not in stores, because they're doing this like destination, but the destination is like as big as you can possibly get. So I don't know. It's interesting that they're not doing retail, and I don't know why that is. Maybe scale and scoopability and fat content, word count, but maybe as far as supply chain. Maybe their ingredients for their weird flavors are too hard to do or something. Like, I don't know what would be stopping them.
I think it's inevitable. I think they're trying. I mean, Ben & Jerry's kind of did this. Van Leeuwen did this. They're trying to hold on to this niche, destination, but inevitably something else is going to come along. And the moment that happens, where someone is stealing their thunder and their sales are way down and people aren't going to Anaheim for their stuff anymore, we're going to see them in stores.
Sell it to Unilever. That's the business model.
Right.
So,
yeah.
That's like the plot of the movie Ratatouille. The restaurant is doing bad, the Michelin star restaurant, and they open the frozen food.
Yeah.
I didn't ever finish that one. I didn't know that's how it ended. Spoiler alert.
So it's not how they save it. They just, spoiler alert. They're cool. The rat can cook. Surprise. But the plot device in the beginning is like, oh, the brand is so diluted, and now we have like frozen bucatini or whatever. So that would be the Salt and Straw equivalent to the frozen bucatini. Would be we're in grocery stores.
For sure. So I'm going to run through a bunch of brands.
All right.
And I'm going to basically just read their health halo marketing because
great.
I find it interesting. So Jenny's, from the best ingredients we can find from producers and growers doing what they do best, including milk and family-run dairies to fresh fruits, blah, 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 fair trade, blah, blah, blah. Certified B Corporation, known for our social, environmental, and business leadership. That's Jenny's. There's another one that I saw at Whole Foods, Alex Ice Cream, founded in 2020. Hyper-organic regenerative farming.
Not just organic, but hyper.
The world's first certified regenerative organic ice cream using ingredients from regenerative farms, including A2 organic milk and carbon-neutral cane sugar. Okay. Another one that I saw at Whole Foods, Strauss. Supporting small dairy farms for over 30 years. Our belief in organic farming is deeply rooted to our commitment to preserving the environment for future generations. It's not only the right thing to do, it's the best way to craft premium dairy products. So you're starting to get where they're all basically, it's kind of surprising to me because I would expect there to be like a liquid death or something. Someone try to fuck up the system and be the opposite, but they're all competing on the same ground with this stuff. Yeah.
I think like liquid death, when they can be a little nasty and a little freaky deaky about stuff because it's just like water with like, salt in it. Like when I'm getting, I'm a 40-year-old man here in 2025 and I'm like starting to like really rethink the choices that I'm making when it comes to like the meat and dairy that I'm consuming. And like, I'm not going to feel good about the ice cream that I'm getting if it's like, oh, this is the one with all the crud in it. And it's,
so that's
Jacked up ice cream.
So that's the health
rock milk.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the health halo. So it's like, what is like we all know we shouldn't be eating ice cream. We all know we shouldn't go to the supermarket and spend like $7 on a pint of ice cream and then take it home and eat it that night. Like that is a waste of money. It's a waste of calories and like it's empty, whatever, pleasure. But we all do it, right? So what is going to be the thing, the halo that's going to tip you over the edge? Like, oh, well, it's good to cows. It's good to the environment. It's good to whatever. Like that's the game.
The migrant kids need good working conditions.
Yeah, right.
And they picked the flavors.
Yeah, for sure. So I also started to research because I wanted to compare it to something. So I researched cookies. So I looked at crumble cookies and I looked at Milk Bar. And the closest thing, Crumble sort of highlights simple ingredients, small amount of ingredients, but they don't go to all this like, oh, we use this organic wheat or something. Like they're not really playing that game. And Milk Bar doesn't do that at all. They're doing like, this is fun and crazy thing to bring to a party. So it's just kind of interesting to me that this is the game that everybody's playing to me, and nobody else seems to be doing it to this level. I don't know. It's weird.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I think it's because cookies as a baked product are like wheat flour and there's no issues with perishability. I really think it's because ice cream is milk and it like comes out of a cow and there's farming, but then it's also like a super perishable bodily fluid. And I wonder how it'll change in like an RFK world, like in the non-pasteurized milk, like how that health washing or health halo effect will continue in the dairy space, because you do have to be like, it's good for you and it's not icky. Like with cookies, you don't have to do that because it's just it's cookies. It's a baked good.
We're waiting for Talenti Raw to drop. I know that you filled up your cart, and if you still have some of this info, I'd love to. Oh, I was looking at my phone when I actually have all the photos here. Curious about so at our local Vons in Yucca Valley, which I know I think a Vons is a Vons is a Vons is a Safeway, and there's probably pretty consistent pricing throughout the region, Southern California, if not, nationally. I know that things can be a little pricier in California, but some of these ice creams is expensive as heck. I'm looking at Haagen-Dazs and Ben & Jerry's going for $6.99 a pint these days. That's what I saw today on my way to the radio station. Jenny's is going for $9.99 a pint.
It's a lot.
What's the upper limit? Y'all are, even with all the health halo stuff, even as artisanal and nice to cows as they are, petting the cow on the head when they milk it, what's the most y'all are paying for a pint of ice cream these days here?
Personally, or just that we're seeing?
Are you
12? What? Tell us.
12.
What? Tell us. What was it?
Okay, so remember how I don't have a car? I can't deal shop, and I'll walk to the liquor store, and the liquor store doesn't have prices on anything. So I pick up a pint of whatever, and then it's $12, and I don't want them saying shit to me, so I just pay it.
At that point, I mean, we do that. Like I just spent a lot on these, and whatever, it is what it is.
I have pushed back at the liquor store before.
Yeah.
I definitely have said they tried to charge me $5 for a 99 raspberries one time, and I said,
"Oh yeah, that's too bad.
That is not the price of this. I will tell me what the actual price is."
Okay.
And I said they reframed. I've pushed back at the liquor.
But it's got to be. But if you're buying a Ben and Jerry's, it's going to be more than you want to spend, and you're at a liquor store. 12 is a lot, though.
12 is a lot, and I don't have any concept of how much stuff should cost because I'm poor and in LA. So you could be like, it's $26 and you have to beg, and I'd be like, sure, let's do it.
There's a very fancy store in our area, high-end liquor store that for a while that was the only place you could get Jenny's, and my partner would sometimes get me Jenny's. This is before the Vons had it, and I knew how much they're selling it for, and I would be mad at her. I'd be like, I know that I like this flavor, and I know that you're trying to treat me very nicely, but do not spend $12 on ice cream for me right now. So... the common theme in my household is my partner goes out of her way to do something very nice for me, and I find a way to be mad at her for it. So.
It just stresses you out.
I don't think I would spend $10 on Jenny's right now in September of 2025. That seems a little over the line for me.
I mean, especially because it's deeply comparable to all the other options. It's not, I don't know. Yeah. You can, for $5 or $6, you can get something that you will enjoy 100% as much.
The McConnell's has dropped to $8.99, so maybe I'll go get the McConnell's.
So for the record, Whole Foods, which I know is not what Whole Foods used to be, is way cheaper than that.
I believe. Really? Wait,
Ben and Jerry's is $5.99. You said $6.99. Jenny's is $9.49, so that's about the same. This other one that I was tracking, Alex, is $8.99, but that's a fancy one. Van Leeuwen is $7.99.
Do we have any more that you wanted to hit? I've got one little coda, which I think is very interesting.
Okay.
So Jenny's, who it's still owned by Jenny. It's Jenny Britton was the founder of Jenny Splendid, and interesting origin. She was in college and started getting into scents. And then she's like, ice cream is the perfect, I'm interested in mixing scents and aromas, and ice cream is the best way to deliver that, actually. So that's how she got into making ice cream. She dropped out of college to start it with her husband and her brother-in-law, and they're still doing it.
She started in Columbus. It's like basically their Grand Central Market in Columbus.
Yeah. And her new project that she is working on, I think she announced it over the summer, it's a high fiber snack bar that uses the scraps from grocery store cut food. So we just did an episode on grocery store cut food where they're cutting up the apples and the watermelons and the things. And she's taking the rinds and the cores and saying, this is such good fiber. She's on a mission to introduce more fiber into American diets. And she's like, if I can make a delicious protein bar, Jenny's branded, that is all of this food waste and providing fiber to people, I think I can make a difference.
That's going to smash, because that's how protein powder started too. Protein powder was also an industrial byproduct of the post-World War II packaged food industry. And they were like, we have all this whey protein. And now everyone's got protein powder. So Jenny's going to be a trillionaire.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I will definitely get that. I you know me, I've always pro-fiber. I'm always talking about fiber. It's a great thing. With that said, I'm my health halo red flags are going off, creating this narrative. Oh, we're doing this. It's a wonderful thing. It'll make you feel better about the amount your impact on the world by buying this product. Anyway, Jef, I'll buy it. I mean, whatever. I will buy it.
It's called Flowera, and then the subhead is Fruit Crush Bars. Comes in blueberry matcha, mango cardamom, brambleberry lavender, vanilla rooibos, and raspberry rose.
I'll try.
God damn it.
It's apple cores, watermelon rinds, and mango skins.
All right.
So
Whatever.
yeah, y'all are in.
Give me one.
She calls ice cream to fiber. She says it's a zag. So instead of zigging, she zagged. There you go.
Yeah, she's playing zip zap zop. We're A to C'ing with the dietary items.
But I think that wraps it up. Any final thoughts on fancy ice cream?
No, I love fancy ice cream. I love little treats. I will not be ashamed. Give me more and make sure it's $12.
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be ashamed. You know, it's like this, whatever. We should enjoy our treats. This whole thing is hard enough as it is. That if I get some cookie dough in my mouth, I'm happy about that.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like, the one that my partner was spending $12 on to get me locally is it's Jenny Splendid, and it's like birthday cake flavor, and it's got like frosting and sprinkles in it, and like it hurts my teeth to eat it. It's like literally the sweetest thing I think I've ever put in my mouth, and can't do it all the time, but I like having one of those on hand for like I get home from work and I'm like, I'm gonna go on a sugar bender right now and just like give myself 7 cavities possible. One spoonful leads to 7 cavities. Great work to our friends in the ice cream industry. Congrats to Unilever for really making it happen with their brand spinoff. Can't wait to buy Magnum ice cream, which is the same name as the gun that kills you and the huge condoms.
Yep.
So
I love all those things.
Magnum ice cream. Don't associate it with any of the other Magnums. All right. I think that's going to do it for us. Jordyn, where can people find you if they want more of you?
You can see me in sketch comedy and live shows at Highland Park TV, at Highland Park TV on Instagram and YouTube. And that is just about it right now. I'm Jordyn Wrong on Instagram. And I live online.
Hell yeah. Always very funny. I'm always delighted when I see you show up in a hilarious sketch. So everyone should check those out, and we'll put some links in the below.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jordyn, for joining us. This has been another episode of Clean Up on Aisle podcast for Adam Fligsten and myself. Thanks for tuning in.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.